Welcome to the Beer and Gear podcast with Chris Taylor.
Right, welcome to this week's podcast, and I've been looking forward to this one for a while. And he's not going to like the fact that I've just said that, but I've finally got Simon Farmery on the podcast. How you doing, buddy? You all right?
Very good, sir. I have a Wisconsin beer, so I'm raring for some chat.
I'm actually beerless because by the time we figured out we were doing this tonight, literally the top shop had shut, and because we're like in lockdown, I'm literally stuck to go into the shop that's 200 yards up the road. But when that's shut, I've got nothing to live in a little village, so we don't even get just eat here, man. We get the adverts all the time, but it's pointless because like we don't live in a delivery area. So
that sucks. Yeah, we were lucky in the sense of living in Wisconsin. Off licenses or liquor stores are classed as essential, so they've been open non-stop.
That's the same here, but like the nearest 24-hour supermarket, let's say, is 15 miles away. And things like that. We're literally in the sticks, and it's got its benefits because it's a great place to live if you're, like saying, lockdown. So many people have taken up walking and literally been going up the fields and doing this and going up the hills and that kind of stuff because we do live in the middle of loads of green stuff. You know, it's great. But if you want like a KFC, good luck with that. You know,
that sucks.
little bit. So how's life been? By the way, we haven't actually said where you're actually coming in from now because I've got another English bloke in the USA here, haven't I? So
yeah, English USA. I actually live in where Les Paul was born, Waukesha, Wisconsin.
All right, okay. So you get some crazy weather differences there, then.
Yeah. It's we always say it's just a flick of a switch. It changes, and it happened last week. I think. Don't know if you saw on Facebook. Monday it was snowing, and by the weekend I was in shorts again. So it's it's like what it used to be when we were growing up, where you had 4 seasons, basically, where you could have your.
We just literally get 12 months of March at the moment over here.
Yeah, it's just started to warm up now, so it's just sort of I can hear the golf club starting to rustle in the basement. So get on. Start hitting some balls around, but yeah, it's good. I love it over here. Actually, it's reminds me a lot of down south. You know, where I kind of grew up in Sussex. It's kind of, in fact, the town just up the road is called Sussex, which is really weird.
That's bad.
Well, it's just a weird thing to move 4,000 miles and then end up in a town just near a town called Sussex again. But yeah, it's just really cool, really laid back, and I can walk to the pub, but I can also walk to the park, and it's just really nice. Love it over here.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. We can walk to the pub. It's just that pubs aren't allowed to open at the moment around here. I mean, I don't know if you're keeping up with the UK news, but I was talking to Chris about it the other week. It was literally the rule at the moment is on the 12th of April, the pubs can open, but you can't go inside. So they're allowing the pubs to open, but serve outside only in April. So basically, as you know, with English weather, if you want to plan your week, if you want to go out for a couple of pints, you better make it between sort of 6 and 8 before it gets too cold, unless it's raining. You know,
they've really thought this through, haven't they?
Yeah, but on my birthday, on May the 17th, if August to plan, they're going to go back to places can open, but only table service. So it'll be the same as before, where you sit at your table in your group of maximum 6, and you when you stand up, you've got to put your mask on. So every time you go to the toilet, you've got to put your mask on to basically travel within the pub. But you can sit there and have a few pints. And in June, apparently, it's all going to be back to normal. But that's all based on, well, they keep saying data, not dates. So it's basically giving you a bit of a, it's dangling the line to make sure that the British public and put the faith in the British public to toe the line and be nice and good, which ain't going to work, is it? Let's be honest.
This would have been over like 6 months ago if it was going to be that case. So are they doing anything regarding, because over here now, if you're fully vaccinated, you can hang out with other people that are fully vaccinated.
The latest on that was because they're rolling the vaccines out at the moment. We're on the part where like everyone over 50 now. It's gone down in decades basically. It's got to the point now where people are getting the letters through to go that if you're 50 to 60, you can go and get vaccinated. Or if you want to go on the NHS website, if you literally qualify, if you don't get the letter, you can basically go on and they'll say, okay, you can come and get yours done at whatever station. I've not been called yet because I'm in the 40 age band, which hasn't been called through yet. But I reckon in a few weeks I could probably book one. The way it's looking like that.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's like if you've got underlying health conditions, people have been done that are younger than me and stuff like that, which is cool. But I know they did a thing yesterday where they hinted at it. Boris Johnson kind of hinted at the facts. He got asked the question about pubs and stuff, and they kind of put through a thing saying, well, not confirmed, but like pubs have got the right to bar people that have either refused a vaccination or haven't had one.
Wow.
Because we still have literally a ton of people who still think that it's all conspiracy and they're not going to get vaccinated. But this vaccine passport thing is going to make that life difficult for people like that. And they're not going to be able to go to festivals, they're not going to go to gigs, they're not going to go to the pub, and they're not going to get on a plane. So that's crazy. It's
all sounding a little bit Russia, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? It's where do you sit on it? Do you everyone's got their views on stuff, and I get that, but if you don't go with the flow, you're literally not going to be able to do anything, are you? So, I mean, that's how it is over here. We're still on lockdown until, well, Monday. Some laws lift a little bit in terms of we're allowed back to the rule of 6, basically. So you can now have up to 6 people in your garden, or you can meet up with 6 people. But shops and pubs and that are still another month off being well, April the 12th, they're supposed to be able to open, and things like that. So it's
wow.
I mean, we've started to get
crazy.
With the band, we've started to get bookings through now for end of June, because 21st, 22nd of June is supposed to be the date where all restrictions are dropped if everything goes well. So I've been quite happy with the fact we've been getting contacted by different venues saying, okay, we want entertainment, we want you to play, because I thought it was going to take like ages to get back to a point where venues that haven't been earning would literally want to book anything. But I suppose they've got the ones that are like know what made them money before, they know that if they put entertainment on, they're going to get a busy night, which turns into more money, and they're doing it that way. So
wow.
I don't know. I mean, what's it like where you are? I mean, Chris told me like the other week, literally it's different from, you can drive up the road and it's completely different rules to what it's nuts.
I'd say probably, I mean, there's still bands playing in pubs. There's still jam nights going on again. So it's kind of, there's still shows happening. It's just obviously restricted amount of people in there. Excuse me. But there's still bands playing. I say still, they're back playing, because obviously they weren't for a while. We only, because it locked down, like properly locked down. It was too, I don't want to, I can't even vote here, so politics is irrelevant for me, really. But it got very political in Wisconsin. As soon as the governor would try and do something, then he'd get taken to the Supreme Court and it'd get overturned. And there was this constant battle to and fro. So I think we were only locked down for a total here in Wisconsin for about 6 weeks.
Right.
Started to lift and stuff. But yeah, it's we have the mask mandate. You can't go into shops. People do though, and it's when grocery shopping, there was at least 5 or 6 people in there that didn't have one on, and no one said anything. It's like they weren't stopped going in. But yeah, it's crazy.
Well, that's similar to over here, because now it took a bunch of the big supermarkets basically to put a thing in saying no mask, no entry. But for the first, let's say 8 months of it, it'd say on the front, mask needed to go in. But because there was no sort of law behind it, and I know a few people that do work in supermarkets are literally told if someone goes in there without a mask, don't challenge them, because they literally want those people to go in, buy what they want to buy, and piss off basically. But don't challenge them, because if you challenge them and get into a massive argument, that's taking away from your productivity and what you're supposed to be doing with putting stuff on. It was literally. But then I think Sainsbury's and Tesco were the first ones that literally just went, right, okay, no mask, no entry. You know, if you're clinically have a clinical reason to not wear a mask, send somebody else to do your shopping. You know, that kind of thing.
Right.
But it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
crazy. And I think we were talking about it just before we started, which was, it's just weird that this is something that's affecting the entire world. You know, we were saying before, it's like, you know, it's very rare for something to, you know, normally it's like, you know, like I was saying before, that you have a tsunami somewhere, it's like, oh my God, it's terrible for those people. But it's like, this is the first time in our lifetime, especially, that it's something that's affected everybody. Literally everybody, you know, has been affected by this. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, fingers crossed, man. We're getting towards the end of it soon.
Yeah, we kind of not spent the first 10 minutes not even talking about music. It's like
the thing is, you got to get out of the way, because, like I said, this is going to be a timestamp in life. Because I'm going to look back at these recordings in a couple of years' time and be like, man, this is, you know, those 20 or so podcasts I did. It's literally a thing that's happening that's affected everybody. I'm talking to musicians that can't gig. I'm talking to people that can't work. I'm talking to people that are trying to do different things to be creative in their house, like I've been doing. You know, it's like it's nuts.
I mean, if it wasn't for Amazon, I would have saved thousands last year.
Well, the thing is, like, when it is all open, I'm going to be the one walking around the shopping centre like Stevie Wonder, not knowing what to do. It's like,
oh man, but yeah, it's just, I think the weirdest part is obviously, you know, it's I'm always one of those one that kind of awkwardly smiles when I'm in a supermarket, and obviously with a mask on, you can't.
I'm the same. I'm literally letting people pass me and being like, and thinking, what? They can't even see my face, man. Like,
bastard, you know, because you're actually like, you know, hi, or, you know, and you're like, I don't know. I tend to be quite quiet and smile a lot, because otherwise it takes me 7 hours to go shopping anywhere, because as soon as I open my mouth, oh, where are you from? Are you from Australia? Or, you know, and that crap starts. So I tend to just kind of smile and get on with my crap. But, everyone probably just thinks I'm really miserable and doesn't talk really well.
Well, let's go back a bit then. So, taking it back from where you are now in the States, where did it all start for you, man? Where did it all start? Where did you figure out that you wanted to play 4 strings rather than 6? You know what I mean?
I have props ready. I'm prepared.
Nice.
Yeah. Even though it was really short notice on my part, this has nothing to do with you. Obviously, it was all we should do that tonight. That'd be fun. This is what started me. This little thing.
Nice.
My uncle gave that to me. It's an original 1982 picture disc, A Number of the Beast. He gave that to me when I was 6, believe it or not. And it scared the shit out of me, because of the picture of Eddie on there and stuff. And I was like, scared crap of it. But that started my love affair with Iron Maiden. And then, was it when it'd have been 13, I'd moved a little bit around the south coast, and me and my cousin Lee was like, we should definitely start doing this band thing. It'd be a really good idea. And he'd always wanted to do drums, and it was just obviously listening to Maiden a lot, and then my dad being a drummer and my uncle being a guitarist, I didn't want to take sides that way either. Just listening to loads of Maiden, and that bass was just, I don't know, there's just something about it, just something that grabbed me. And that was it. From 13, good Lord, for a lot of my early playing, all I did was prop number 2, was come home and play this record and play along with it.
Nice.
I played it to death. I don't even know if it still will play. It's that burnt out. But yeah, this record, and then I suddenly hit that point where I was like, holy crap, if I don't start broadening my horizons here, I'm just going to be another Steve Harris. So that's when I actually went really, really left wing, started listening to lots of jazz and funk and bass players like Randy Coven, and just real off the wall stuff. And I spent like a year just sitting there with the metronome, learning how to do funk stuff, just to try and break out of that heavy metal genre. And then that was it really. Just a lot of cover bands. With my cousin Lee, we got a lot of cover bands together, and some really crazy. I wouldn't say horrific, but bad names if you're trying to do anything on a public side. I think my first kind of big cover band was called Alien Bitch.
Nice.
Which was great. I think there might be a recording of a show somewhere that I'll send you privately.
Don't worry about that name. I've been in a band called Spam Javelin before.
Spam Javelin. Okay, you might have beat me on that one. Yeah, with Alien Bitch, we did a gig for the local mayor, and they made us just go on as Alien. They said our name was too offensive, which was kind of funny.
I did a gig with a band I used to have. It was a jam band from a pub, and we called ourselves the Wafty Crankers, right? We played a charity festival the once, and Bridge North Journal, the biggest paper from like within the next 7 miles from around to the nearest town, wouldn't put our name in it.
Amazing.
And I was like, what do you mean? They were like, well, it's obvious you're trying to say something else. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. What's it?
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. It's just.
What was your first bass?
Oh, funny enough, Chris mentioned the brand. Actually, I had a Marlin Sidewinder jazz bass, red, nice. Which is crazy because he had a red strap. This is why. First time I met Chris, and we'll get into that story, but yeah, I had a Marlin Sidewinder jazz bass, red with a white pickguard, 99 quid from Drum and Strong was the name of the shop in East Worthing. And same place where Lee got his first kit, which I think he still has, his Red Premier. But yeah, that was it. $100, listen to me, 100 quid for my first, and that was it. That was the start of it all. I've got photos of it. So I'm one of those horrible people that regret selling my first couple of basses. But back then I was like 13, 14 doing a paper round. So it's not like I could afford to keep them. So I had to kind of potentially trade them in or sell them to get my next, the next level of basses, and was kind of slowly chipping my way until kind of went to the Crossroads to get my first Warwick and sold my soul and everything I had to get my first Warwick. But yeah, it was, that bass was bad. And I had one lesson from John De La Petra, I think his name was, guitarist. And I remember being really scared to even want to touch the tuning pegs because I didn't know if I was going to put it out of tune or do something wrong. And then had that one lesson, and then just, I don't know, just weird. I just got a love affair of records and a record player and just my ear and just playing along to records and learning, put another record on and just doing it that way. And
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because that's the way I learned, and it's helped me out more than anything, really. I mean, I'd love to be able to like read music and be able to sight read and all that kind of stuff, but I love just literally grabbing a song and going like grabbing a guitar and being like, yeah, okay, got it.
And it's just, I mean, it's just more organic. I don't know. I mean, obviously this day and age, if you're rushing to learn a song, you just YouTube it, bass cover of da-da-da, and you see someone sitting there playing it. Okay, that's how it goes. If you've got like half an hour before, and we're going to do it for a lot.
You're the same as me then. You're more of a, like nowadays I find myself, because I do have to do that kind of thing, and it's like, I'm a very visual learner. Rather than sit there now, I'll literally watch someone do a cover it. I'll literally absorb that video for that 5 minutes on, and then I'll be like, good, got it.
Yeah, that's it. If I've got a really short window, I do like still to sit down and play a lot, and try and physically learn it. But obviously from growing up, everything's kind of changed when it comes to tuning. The biggest one for me is I will usually go on to some form of tab to at least get an idea of what key it's in. Because obviously nowadays with all the drop tunings, back in my day being an old fart, it was more just E.
And E and E flat, wasn't it? That was it.
E and E flat, you'd learn that fairly quick, which tuning it was in.
Why aren't I in tune with Appetite for Destruction? There's something wrong here. The tab book says it's in E. It's not.
So it was kind of, I don't know, it was just, there was some really good feeling about just having a really loud, my mum hated it when I was at home. I got really loud stereo at home and just blasting music. And I would, cycle back from my job after school, cycle back on my lunch break, make some super noodles and take them upstairs and just literally put the record on, scoff them down and play bass for like 40 minutes and then cycle back to my job. That's pretty much was the early years of me playing bass. I did that non-stop. It was just, that was it. Yeah, it was crazy. And it was, crazy to think I've been playing Yeah, 30 years. This month, that we're in March, right? Yeah, we're in March. Yeah,
I'm up to 26 this year. Should be better than we should both be better than we are really now for that many years.
Yeah,
Stuff gets in the way, doesn't it?
at least I've got an excuse of being old. It's like, yeah, I probably could be better. Well, saying obviously, you know, there's players out there that are still incredible, you know, in a generation of me. But yeah, it's one of those things where I think we kind of hit that point where, you know, the whole internet and kind of changed the whole music industry, where you can't just do a record and then go out and play and build a following. You know, the old school way of being a famous band is nowhere near what happens this day and age. So it's difficult. They always say, what's the old saying, how to make $1 million in music is start with two. So yeah.
It's completely different now. I mean, it's like, even from the learning point of view now, it's like you look at it and you can put yourself a nice little cover up that you're proud of, and there's some 8-year-old kid from Taiwan just kicking your ass on YouTube, and it's like, okay, you know. Or you can hone your craft and spend lots of time getting a perfect sound and doing recording something that you're really, really proud of, and you put it out, and literally someone gets like 1 million more hits than you by farting on TikTok. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's like
yeah. Yeah, it's just, it's changed, which is a shame, but it's it's weird. I mean, obviously the whole thing musically for me switched gear when my daughter was born. The whole kind of, I don't know, it's weird. I wouldn't say drive, that's not a right word. Priority shifted a little bit. I mean, the hunger to play is still there, but it's just a case of my daughter and my wife and my world, and it's just, that whole thing just shifted a little bit. But now she starts school in September, which is insane. I'm biting and chomping at the bit to get back and do some stuff. But then the world shuts down. I'm like, okay, well, I can take a hint. I'll just sell everything and be an old git talking about the fact I used to play bass. What a shit, no, you didn't, you know. But
this is why one of the main reasons why I'm doing this now was I wouldn't have thought to be doing sort of like a podcasty interview type thing before, because every weekend I'd be gigging.
Yeah.
And in the week I'd be doing stuff at the pub or whatever like that, and then suddenly it was like, bang, okay, no gigs, no pubs, that kind of stuff's gone. What do I do? Well, I might be able to do something fun. I started making music again, which you said, you know. Still haven't sent me that bass track for that song that was 28 songs ago. But
yeah, what's pretty funny is I got it all set up, and I can't even remember. I don't even have a decent excuse. I'm shit. There we go. I didn't load up. That was what it was. I redid my hard drive, and I got an update on my Cubase, and I've got my dongle still. And I just literally was sitting there going, okay, I've imported the track. I'm like, I haven't done this, used this system for so long. And I'm literally trying to learn it. And then, Christ, life kind of takes over. No excuse.
We just cracked on. We literally got into a thing where it's like we're doing one a week. And literally, it was a fun way of working. But now I listen back, I'm going to remaster them all to put them all on whatever streaming platforms. There's a couple on the streaming platforms, but it was just fun to have that. Right, it's a task every week. You know, by Tuesday we have the vocals sent through, which we sang on his phone and sent over like that on GarageBand. And I'm like, okay, turn it into a WAV. Okay, great. I've got the music done. Wednesday we do this. Thursday we're filming a video. Friday it's out on Facebook. And that was our thing every week. It was like bang, bang. It was relentless. Like, and now it's calmed down to a bit. It's like one every 2 or 3 weeks now. But because people are like allowed back into work and doing different things, different jobs. So, you know,
that's kind of the whole process with the Rubicon Cross stuff kind of first came about, because we were all over the place, and it took time with CJ's schedule to get stuff recorded, and Chris was flying, and we were all moving. Obviously, in that point, me and Chris were in the process of coming to the States, and some stuff was recorded in Brighton, some stuff was recorded here in Wisconsin, and then, good Lord, I'm trying to think what other stuff was done. Obviously Atlanta, where Chris was. So by the time we actually got the material together, it was like, good Lord, this sounds shit. It was different sounds from so many different parts of the world, which sounds crazy, but And that's why we literally just went down to Rick Beato's studio in Atlanta and just re-recorded everything. I mean, there was some stuff I kept because when I'd moved to Chicago, I was popping up because CJ used to live here in Wisconsin. I popped up to his house to do a lot of the bass stuff. And there was one bass line that we kept for the record, which was the one that was dedicated to Chris's dad that we did. And it was just the moment when I recorded that was me and CJ just sat down in his studio in his house. We read through the lyrics, cried like a couple of 14-year-old schoolgirls, and then I recorded the bass. And it was just one of those ones where I said, I don't care if it's, it wasn't out of time and shit, but it was when it came up, I said, I'm not re-recording it because there was just,
feeling,
moment you can't recreate. And so that one was the original tracking from up here. And it wasn't like, CJ had a crappy setup. He has an incredible Neve setup up here that's now in Florida. So it was just one of those things where we just, read through it and recorded it. And it was just, one of those moments that we wanted to keep on the record. I think CJ did all of his vocals up here in Wisconsin.
Right, okay. That's cool.
Atlanta.
I think that record's brilliant.
It was fun because the way that I tend to work with that stuff, I really do my homework. I don't like studio. I'm not a big studio fan. I'm more geared towards live, but I will do my homework so I'm able to then get into the studio and knock it out as quickly as I can and get out. I think the first Pride record I did, I think it might have been the second Pride record, sorry. The first one was a little bit different because it was on tape, but the second one I did that in 14 hours, whole album done. And I want to say the Rubicon Cross, we booked a week in to do bass, and I did it in a day and a half. And then spent the time in Atlanta just chilling out with Chris. Yeah, so those things I just like to, pre-production is king, and that's something I really, really enjoy. And that's one part that the first Pride record, that beautiful word, that we did was me and our drummer Rick. We used to rehearse on our own. We'd have pre-production stuff with the entire band, and then me and Rick would get together. And I'll never forget it. We were in a bar, and we recorded in Genesis Studio in Liverpool, Park Street. Yeah, and the first night we got there and loaded in, and obviously where everyone's excited, went down to the bars and started pounding out some drinks. And it was a buy one get two free or something. So I'm round, and the bar just filled up with booze, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And I looked at Rick, and there was just this. We just had, because we were obviously first in, and we were crapping it anyway because it's Genesis Studio. I mean, like, we were in there with Coldplay, where Simply Red have recorded. There's some huge bands, but Coldplay were in there at the time. So we just went back, and me and him went into the live room, and there's the grand piano in the corner that Trouble was recorded on by Coldplay, and we set up and we jammed and literally played the entire record on our own in the studio. And it was just one of those moments like, holy crap, this is so cool. And it's just there's that you kind of lose as well with the modern recording, because you don't get, because I've always, in fact, the first two Pride records, the Fury EP, I recorded facing the drummer. So literally we are tracking, and every hit he's hitting, I'm hitting, and it just locks in that. It's the nuances and the feeling that you get from doing that, and it's much less sterile than just everybody tracking their things on their own. Yeah, it's different. And Pete Coleman, amazing producer, worked like Boston and AC/DC, and we were crapping it, absolutely crapping it. Never met him before, and he's an absolute diamond. Love him to bits, and he knew the studio really well, and the way that the room is obviously tuned. It's huge, massive room, but he wasn't using any reverb or any studio reverbs. He was putting mics in stone vocal rooms off the live room. So he'd set the kit up in front of this live room or like, you know, what they call a live room. It's where the vocals were going, and it's all stone to get a natural reverb. And that was the reverb he got for the drums, for the records. And it was stuff like that, which was just, yeah, that first Pride album is really, really something. And then the second one was when we went digital, and it was Past Street we were spoilt rotten. I mean, you're talking, when was that recorded? 1998 or 99, and it was £1,000 a day without the producer then.
Wow.
And it was tight. I think we did the whole album in like 2.5 weeks, and yeah, it was just one of those experiences where, you know, it's all well lit, you got your own private kitchen, your own movie theater behind. This is all in the Studio One, and then upstairs is all your hotel rooms, so you're all staying in the same area. And that's when we burnt toast at 4 a.m, wasted, and set the fire alarm off to the whole building. And everyone get out because we'd burnt toast, because we were too broke to go or too tight more than anything to go and buy food. I think we're probably more scared about being in Liverpool at 4 a.m.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Don't get your slippers nicked.
Yeah, so we went from, sort of doing the first record there, and then obviously the second one came about, and it was a bit more constraint with the budget. And there's a name of the hotel, or it's a pub with the rooms above, is etched in my brain forever. And it's the Egerton Arms in Runcorn. And that's because that's the second record. And our manager managed to get a deal with this guy, and the rooms were £8 a night.
Wow.
There's a video somewhere of us walking through. It was brutal.
Did you have a leather pillow?
What's that?
Did you have a leather pillow?
Yeah, it was. We had like 2.5 channels on the TVs, half a toilet seat in the shared toilet in the hallway. I remember it was £1 a pint though, and I remember walking in, and they had a swear jar, and I just immediately put a 20 in there because, you know, I can be like sometimes after a few beers.
Yeah.
The owner of the pub ended up getting really upset with us because we'd stay in there and literally we were the last people in. You know, be recording all day and then come home to the bar and drink and drink and drink and drink. And they'd set up this complimentary breakfast, which was basically, what do they call those little boxes of cereal we used to get as kids? You have Rice Krispies, Frosties, and
the selection box things, weren't they?
Yeah.
Variety pack, whatever it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
So had a bunch of them and various like yogurts, and we'd go in there and absolutely smash all the food before going to bed. So they'd think they'd set everything up for the night, you know, for the next morning.
Yeah.
We'd go in there and absolutely just 15 beers or whatever, and then go to bed, and then, you know, kind of come through, sort of sneak through sheepishly in the morning to go to the studio again. But yeah, I felt bad for Chris and Matt because, again, I was in and out. I think I was there for 3 days to do all the bass tracks. They were there for a month,
right,
in a particular pub, and it was, and the studio had no windows, so you didn't know what time it was or anything. It was really tough. And as soon as I walked in, I was like, we usually walk in with like 4 or 5 crates of beer just to get the party rolling, as it were. And then I was like, oh my God, there's no windows in this place. Yeah, and that was a tough one. But yeah, that was the whole Pride era. It was just such a fun band. Such a fun band.
So when did that move on to Furion?
We did the second record. I'm trying to think where it falls timeline wise. So we'd done the first record, and then the second record was the one we kind of toured a bit more, which is where we met CJ. So we're talking 2004. We did a big tour of Europe with those guys, and that's how we ended up all meeting the Firehouse guys, because our tour manager Kieran was a massive Firehouse fan, and they hadn't played in the UK for like 10 years, so he brought them over, and obviously being involved with us, he put us on the tour. And that was how that kind of came to an end there. And it's just, we could feel that was around the time where, you know, especially doing the shows we were doing, and it's no offense to the bands we were playing with because it was incredible bands, but it was like there's a band that's just released their second record trying to do this, that was in a genre, they've been pigeonholed into a genre that was kind of doing this. So we kind of hit, it was, you know, obviously when you get an EMI contract put in front of you, you don't really give two shits about what the style of music is, but no, that's not true really. You do, but it's like, you don't even start thinking about, you know, where you're going to potentially be pigeonholed with what you're doing. But yeah, we kind of could see that the way the things were going, that we needed to kind of shift, modernize a little bit. And that's when Furion came about. And we just found a key that Matt was kind of still comfortable with, that didn't kind of feel too low or force him to move up at all. And C just kind of sat really well. And it was such a cool tuning. Everyone was kind of, I suppose, 2004, you mentioned with Chris about that Korn kind of era where kind of really wanting to go super low. Kind of E flat had been done to death, and D had a little bit with kind of Creed, because
they dropped D a lot, and
you
know,
so drop C was where we felt sounded kind of heavy enough to be new kind of heavy, but not kind of, oh, they're just playing in D, like, you know, kind of. So that was where it kind of fell. And yeah, we just kind of started jamming some stuff, and that was such a cool band. We did some really, really, really fun times. You know, I've been lucky enough to do tours on tour buses and such, but the particular tour, I'm surprised Chris didn't mention it, actually. Well, I'm not surprised Chris didn't mention it. We did a tour with an American band, and it was, you know, I mean, you talk about shoestring budgets, it was pretty much zero. And we just hired a rental van with all the gear in the back, and that's what we were sleeping in. You know, so there was like the band, so it was a 4-piece at the time, and Lee Littleman, and we took him because he had a disabled badge, so we could park outside the venues, and he had, yes, and then and our sound guy, and that was it. And after I got videos, I videoed a lot of that, and we played the Adelphi in Hull, like where Oasis first ever played. And I've got videos of us pulling up at that. Because you ever been there before?
No, I've not been there. No.
It's basically a garage on the side of a terraced house in the middle of Hull.
Oh right.
A graffitied garage. It's crazy, and we were expecting this like really big, you know, because we'd all been hyped up about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That tour was just, oh my god.
I've got a gig in Hull in August.
Really?
I think I shared the picture with her. We're headlining a festival in August. Oh. Unfortunately, it's the Yorkshire Swingers Association festival.
Oh my god! You showed me that. That is insane. That is insane. Wow, that's desperation for a show. That is, but good luck.
It's good money, mate. It's good.
Yeah. Yes,
around this period then, when you're doing Fury and that was probably around the same time that we first started like being friends, wasn't it? Because like that was when you were at GAC and I was on the phone on the other end at Laney and Ibanez at Head Start, wasn't I? You know,
that was when it was, yeah. Because that might have been when we first started talking. Because I know that Warwick, I've been lucky enough to be endorsed with Warwick since about 90. Around that 99 time, and when they came out with their Framers line and they were really pushing it, a lot of the big metal bands, they kind of did the Framers Cobras. They were really, and they just loaded us up with equipment. And it's funny because I can show you videos when we went in and did the 32 hours EP for Furion. You know, we're bring all this gear in, and there's Chris with his GH100, and we're using this stuff live, but he was still using his old GH100 Laney head in the studio with a tube screamer. That was what it was, and I don't even think it was an 808. What's the one below 808? I'm not.
There was the 7, and there was the 9 as well.
Yeah, so because obviously they only had 2 channels, didn't they? The GH100s.
Well, it's one with a gain switch on it, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and then yeah, then obviously we started talking, and chatting away. And
well, yeah, I used to take the orders off you every day. You'd ring up for the stock check, and it'd turn into like a 20-minute chat and piss take session, basically, wouldn't it?
it's
Chris, we got the Farminator on the line for you. Okay, smack him through.
Exactly. And it was awesome. It was really cool. Even when I moved, because when I first moved here, I was still working for them remotely.
You were, yeah.
Still chat and yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where my first ever bass rig was Laney, like real rig. I mean, I had little Colesborough combos when I first started. The Colesborough Viper. I thought that thing was huge. And then my first stack was a Laney stack. That's what I had. 94, 95.
Then when we got to the States, it was let's update your big fridge rack with some big heavy Nexus heads, wasn't it?
Oh my! I still have them. I know. Luckily that I have the Nexus Studio. Yeah, because the rack. That's why I had to go in wheels. Those heads. God, I don't even want to know how much they weigh. It's a lot. I think it's like 75 pounds or something.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's like two small children. Yeah, it's a lot.
I think I got 4. They got like, is it 2 or 4 more tubes than an SBT? It's a monster. Yeah, so that was when you started reaching out about it, and like I say, that was great to.
And then because I can't remember which is first on the timeline here, because I invited you to come out to Namm, didn't I?
Yes.
Yep. And that was one of the best Namms I ever had, because it was such fun. You turned up, you're like, right, there's no hotels around here, is there? I said, no, they're all booked. And you were like, oh shit. And I was like, it's all right, man. I've got a floor.
Yeah, it was like, inviting me out, and I'm like, we'll figure it out. It'll be fine. I didn't care. We had beer, and obviously I wasn't a dad then, so I could sleep on a floor or whatever. And it was, that was great. That was a really good time. That was when that really embarrassing time when you the lights went down and you had that banana as I was packing my backpack. Literally,
I forgot that, because everyone was outside and we were packing stuff up in the middle of the booth, and all the sides had come off it, and it was literally like a silhouette, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was literally you, the banana, and you were joking because I was down there packing up my backpack to take it back to the hotel, because I think James and all that were waiting to take, because we were going to go for steak or something. And I was just putting my stuff in to take it, and I looked up and there's you with the banana going, and then the lights dropped, and everyone else there just dying. It was just, good Lord.
I forgot about that. Wasn't there someone also that was demoing a guitar or something, and you just turned around and went, that's shit?
Yeah, that was me, my usual subtle self. It was, that was also, I think, the year when Jericho and Rich turned up. And
the bottle of the vodka in the water.
Yes, and we were sat down, and where they had that kind of tabled area behind, so people could obviously meet and chat, trade wise. And me and Chris were just catching up, because I don't think I'd seen him since I did the Fozzy stuff.
No, I'm going to ask about that in a minute. We that kind of gig got sorted out between us as well, didn't it?
Yeah. And Walking with Kings stuff as well, and then. We both had bottles of water and put it down, and somehow he must have overstretched and I overstretched. So they kind of swapped.
His wasn't water, was it?
No. And I grabbed his water bottle and took a massive swig, and your brain's going through that. It's definitely not water. What is it? So in that brief second, I was like, and it was Grey Goose.
Neat Grey Goose, yeah.
Neat Grey Goose in this Ice Mountain bottle, and he was dying. He's just laughing at me. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, well, I can't be on camera walking around with a bottle of vodka. I said, well, yeah, especially at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
It was like 10:30 in the morning, the signing was, wasn't it?
But yeah, so that year was amazing. That was my first experience of LA.
That year as well, we also had you went to the Zach Wild roast as well, and also there was always me and you were pretty much, and sometimes Ian as well, were always the last ones in the hotel bar, weren't we?
Oh yeah, was that the one? That was the year Stevie Wonder did a surprise show somewhere.
Yeah, and you missed it because I was with Andy Sadowski at that one, wasn't I?
Yeah, and it was. But yeah, the Zach Wild roast.
Yeah, you went to the Zach Wild roast. because you brought me back an EMG little doggy bag, which was nice. But
Trying
like,
to think.
there was that one night we were like having a beer, and I was outside having a smoke with DJ Ashbear and stuff, and you were like, "He's in Guns N' Roses." I was like, "I know, yeah." Just like he's like, just. And then we went to go in the lift, and there was like 3 prostitutes in there. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, then we were just like, literally,
yeah.
Okay, wherever they're getting off, someone's having fun.
Yeah,
but yeah, that never got aired. That Zach Wild roast, did it?
It's on YouTube.
Is it?
I was watching something the other week, and it literally came up as the next video, and it was like the full complete pro shot thing. I don't know if it was on the TV, but it was there. You can watch it. It's on YouTube.
Wow, because it must have been. Yeah, that must have been just after I did the Fozzy stuff, because it was me, Rich, Jericho, and then Portnoy was on my table, and we ate. They gave us, we fed, and then behind us was Steel Panther, so it was getting. And I want to say Scott Ian was on our table, but yeah, it was like one of those ones where I just sat there, kind of like, I'm completely out of my depth here. I'm a nobody, you know. It's just, but yeah, it's one thing that I suppose for me, when meeting Chris for the first, as in Jericho for the first time, I was never a big wrestling fan, so he's just Chris. So I treated him like a person and gave him crap, and it's always been fun working with him, and really funny. But
because that gig came across me having a phone call, and it was like, do you know any good bass players? And I was like, well, there's someone in the States, funnily enough, that might be able to do this for you. You know.
Yeah, and I remember that day as clear as yesterday. I was walking into Best Buy to get a new TV, and Rich Ward called me, and obviously we've been in touch since. In fact, we still text each other. And I was walking in to get a new TV, and I thought, I'll grab this, and I'll never forget it. It was like a Tuesday night, and I was due to go to Atlanta on Saturday to do the Walking with Kings video shoot down in Atlanta with Rich. And he goes, what are you doing next week? In fact, the next couple of weeks, what are you doing? I was like, why? He goes, I think Paul had broken his foot and couldn't fly. And he goes, yeah, do you want to come on tour with Fozzy? And I was like, sure, why not? That'd be fun. And that was Tuesday. So I had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday I drove to Atlanta, Saturday I did the video shoot, Sunday I came home, drove back from Atlanta to Chicago, worked on the music that night, and Monday I flew to Edmonton in Canada.
That's right, because you're doing all the Canadian shows in the freezing cold outdoors and stuff. When you're not
we did and Washington State. So yeah, the Tuesday we were in a ice hockey stadium opening for Avenged Sevenfold. Yeah. 4 days. That's what I was talking about. I mean, luckily their manager sent me just a pure bass line so I could learn it. And yeah, that was a wild one. That was leaving all my gear in Atlanta so they could fly it in, because it was too short a notice to get any visas. So I just went in. Obviously, I've got a British passport, so we're like, yeah, come in, we love you. And just went in with a backpack and did the shows. And then I think the last one was in Seattle, and then I flew home with my bassist from there. It was crazy. That was a real last minute, come on out. And I remember Chris saying, he goes, you joined us at the right time. These are some of the biggest shows we've ever done. That was, I think, 2011. But yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it was those guys. I think Billy, I kind of led Billy astray because I was going through some personal crap at the time. I was going through either just divorce or going through a divorce at the time. So I was a bit of a
party animal.
Yeah, and I was just tearing it up. And Rich is he always has been very kind of takes really good care of himself, not a really big drinker. Chris, you can kind of lead him astray with the Grey Goose and stuff. And Billy, we had some beers and that, but obviously Bullet for My Valentine were on the road with us. And I was in catering one day, and Jason, the old bass player, walked in, and I said, "Oh, how you doing?" And obviously as soon as he heard me speaking English, he was like, oh, and that was it. Me and him and Padge just literally, that was it. We were just welded together for the rest of it. And just, those boys are animals. They're really good fun to hang around with. Yeah, I miss those guys. But yeah, it's that was that period. That was a quick, I was like, oh my God, that was really cool. Really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the last minute, just by going to buy a TV, and the next minute, doing a video shoot, and then I'm flying to Canada to do these shows. It was so much fun. A lot of fun.
I remember those times well, man. It was great. It was all good. And it was good to see someone I knew so well getting the chance to do it as well. That was, I felt connected to it, from over here. It was like, that's cool. You know what I mean? It's like, that's great.
It was a lot of fun, and it was just they're such good guys. They really are. All of them are just awesome guys. And obviously Paul as well. He's no longer with them in the band. But yeah, they're just such a good bunch of guys. Really down to and a lot of fun. And we're really accommodating. So I remember, that's right, because we got in that Monday night into Edmonton, and we had a rehearsal. We had a 2-hour rehearsal. And 3 songs in, the PA blew up.
Oh.
It was literally, I was like, okay, let's just go with it.
Just go with it, see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just one of those ones where obviously the full rehearsal wasn't meant to be. So, yeah, and that was it. And then, after that was when all the Rubicon Cross stuff, we finally, started moving forward with that, getting that properly recorded. So I think we did an EP first, like just a little tester to see how it would be taken. And then, it was really cool. That record, the Rubicon Cross stuff, really proud of that, because it was a long, long time coming. And it was, the actual band name came from Chris's dad.
Right.
Because started that, the idea of that project was CJ approached me and Chris in the dressing room in Madrid in 2004 about doing that. It was initially going to be like a solo band of his. He wanted to do a solo project. And then as over the time, it kind of just grew into this band. And then I remember Dave, God bless him, he was always, I don't know if Chris has ever gone into detail, his dad, but he has joke books out. He was such a funny guy. Every time he got a lot of stuff from me through GAC, I'd get him really good deals. And every time I'd pick the phone up with Dave, he'd always have to start with about 2 or 3 jokes. Yeah, and I remember him going, fucking hell, you guys getting this band together, it's like crossing the Rubicon. And boom, that's where it came from. Yeah, Rubicon Cross. And it's a really, really cool record. It was one of those ones that was really, it took a long time to come into fruition, but yeah, it was a really good record to finally get out there and kind of show CJ's heavier side.
Yeah.
With him, doing the Firehouse stuff for all those years. I'm still going, obviously. But we've got to there's still life in that old dog yet. I think we got to at least another record out of that one.
That'd be great.
Got to do another one.
Do you know what though? What I also liked about it, when you were doing all that kind of stuff as well, the original stuff, you were also keeping your chops up, weren't you? Just getting out there and doing like really fun but busy, good paying sort of cover shows, weren't you, as well? Just to
trying to think. I had a when I was still living in Chicago, I had a progressive 3-piece, like really progressive. That stuff was insane, to the point of where, again, this incestuous pool of musicians sat at that table at the Zach Wild Roast next to Portnoy. Obviously, I got to chat and hang out, and then when Adrenaline Mob came to Chicago, the progressive 3-piece I was in opened up for Adrenaline Mob. So that was, and obviously at that time, I think Paul DeLeo, who was in Fozzy, was also an Adrenaline
Mob. Yeah. It
was Ward.
With Rich Ward, yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah, so that was all of that. But it was. I completely lost my train of thought now. But yeah,
I was gonna get to you, because I remember seeing the poster you put out for when you were doing Lava Rock, and I was like, whoa.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, waylaid with that. But yeah, so yeah, I was doing the 3-piece progressive, and then it actually started out as Vintage, which was like a
I remember
actually like doing all the dressing up into the 70s stuff.
Yeah,
and for some reason they didn't get it, and I was like, wow, because it was like almost like a Dazed and Confused kind of thing.
Yeah, all village people.
Back then, in when was we because we actually had management. We were actually managed by this management company in Chicago that put the band together. It wasn't like let's do this. It was like they were auditioning the people for the band. And we sat down with the Dazed and Confused record and kind of was picking the playlist. That's with Gerald. And and it just didn't, for some reason, we did quite a few shows with it, but it just didn't. And look, Gerald, I know you got on soon. He had he bought wigs and everything to look like he had really long hair, and even went out and bought some extra guitars, and we were going around old charity shops getting bell bottoms and all this kind of stuff and trying to really push it, but for some reason it didn't take traction. And then Kerry was the singer. He goes, I've always had this idea of doing this acronym with the Lava Rock, and it's Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Van Halen and Aerosmith. That's the only 4 bands you play.
Yeah, that's all you need.
That sounds really, really cool. And I was like, we're going to do, because obviously at this point we had all this stuff and all these costumes, and I was like, so how are we going to do this? And I said, no, this is just your stage stuff and rock it out kind of stuff and just go for it. And that band, they're still going now, and they're doing really successful. They're doing really well with that. It's that was a fun band, really fun band. That's when I first had to go out and buy a drop tune pedal, because because we were genuine to the Van Halen, we were playing it all in E flat.
Yeah.
And so drop tune pedals, like I'm not, because I'm one of those weird people that I like to play. I like to use a bass, and you'll see through like a lot of the Rubicon Cross stuff. Like it was also like it's cross. In fact, Chris killed me on that record. It was in like 3 or 4 different tunings. We were like C sharp. This one's in D. This one's in E flat. And I'm like, screw this. I'm just going to learn to play it on the 5-string in E flat. So that's what I did. And there was some really kind of like Kill or Be Killed is a really upbeat. I think it's one of the ones I did the video in here playing. And I'm literally fretting everything to play it rather than having to go another bass, another bass, another bass.
Yeah.
I think the only one was Bleed With Me, because that was in a particular drop tuning, and it was to get it to sound kind of right, you need that kind of, I think it was a pedaling open string. So that one I had in the video as well was a drop 4-string. But yeah, and there's even in the Furion days, there was one that was in C where the opening riff was like a pedal off of an open C string.
Yeah, you can't get away with it then, can you?
So I'd fret it with this hand. There's a picture on my face.
I fret it, and I first fret on the B and to do it like that way.
That's really cool as well. Yeah. I just had this thing in my head. I don't know why. I just always wanted to. I don't know. Probably it's my early roots of seeing Steve Harris on bass with a bass guitar, and it was like for some reason it's like, well, I should be able to do this with one bass, So that's what I did. I learned how to do everything on a 5-string in E flat.
Nice.
Yeah, but obviously the Van Halen and I just like drop tune.
Oh yeah.
And then back up again. So that was kind of how that. But yeah, that band was It playing with it was just for me moving up here, which was the next step in my life, and then being in Chicago and playing in Michigan, and geography wise, we're doing the hard rock in Michigan. For me, that's a 4.5 hour, 5 hour drive. So go there, and you're talking about getting there for set up, sound check, do a 3-hour show, and then a 5-hour drive home. So it was a lot. And I fell asleep at the wheel coming back one night. Not only briefly, long enough to scare the shit out of me, and then take the wrong highway route. It was at one point, right. Routes, look into the American me, is where it splits and goes round from round kind of, it's hard to describe really, but yeah, one highway goes south towards Madison, and then it kind of goes up and round kind of Waukesha. And I wanted to go on the south route, and I woke up going round the right-hand turn of the highway to take the north section.
That's scary.
And that was my point where I was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore, which sucked. Yeah. It sucked. Really. I've done some fill-in shows. We did in Duluth. We did a show probably a couple of years ago now with the pandemic. you're adding another year to what you think was,
Yeah.
a year ago. But that was a scream. We went up and did, it was an overnight show and did a show up there. That was a lot of fun.
But you supported some big 80s rock bands as well, didn't you, with that band?
Oh my God, that we did. We in fact, I shared a picture, and it worked out. It was the day of my birthday. We were supporting Bret Michaels, and my friend Rob plays keyboards for him, and he's oh my God, he's an Chris. Next time you speak to Chris, you have to get some stories. They went bowling with Rob one night, and he's just the nicest guy you ever meet. But oh my God, he must be English at heart, because that boy can really put some down. And yeah, we were playing away doing I can't remember what it was. It was either the after show. I think it was the after show, because he had already had a few beers. So they all came in and hang out, and I'm playing away, and obviously it's, they're doing a shout out for my birthday, and he literally walks up with a 2-litre bottle of Jaeger while I'm playing, and there's just Jaeger pouring down me and my bass while he's just pouring Jägermeister down my throat. It was just, we did some more. When we played with Mr. Big, we've been lucky enough to play some big bands with that band. Did some really, really cool stuff with them. But yeah, and that's where I first kind of started to get to know Billy Sheehan properly. I think we played.
That's pretty great, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's such a cool guy. Yeah, I know it sounds like I'm really doing the old name drop, but for me,
with a bit of that, it gives me loads of stuff to hashtag in the description.
Yeah,
so it's great.
I met him at MI in London. My cousin Lee was there for doing drums. I don't know, I was just probably too crap to go to MI because I couldn't read music. And he did a seminar there, and my cousin Lee was like, "Joe, do you want to get tickets to go up and see Billy Sheehan?" I was like, "Yeah, definitely." And it was a room. I mean, I'm not trying to downplay him at all, but I'd say, obviously, I'm trying to think how many people. I'll be surprised if there's 150 people in this room on chairs, and they were all like chairs together. And I was in the second row, and Billy Sheehan is sat 15 feet in front of me, doing all the everything. Everyone's thinking, "Oh, that double thing you did with Vion, Even Smile." He's like playing away.
Yeah.
He had to do pinch harmonics without a pick, and that was a huge moment for me watching that. I mean, we're talking again probably 96, 97, and it was that V in the road of, okay, you're either going to knuckle down and do this, or you're going to quit. And I remember going up to sign him. In fact, I know it would have been 98, because I was just about to go and record the first Pride record. And meeting him, I still have the signed photo somewhere. He signed an Ampeg photo for me. And I kind of stopped, and he kind of goes, "So, what have you got going on?" And it wasn't just one of those, sign and hand off. He's like, "Oh, what are you he said, "Oh, you're here, obviously." I said, "Yeah, no, I'm not at college. I'm just about to go and record my first record, and I'm actually bricking it. I'm always worried about that, the red light fear."
Yeah.
And he went like that and gave me his email address. And I emailed him and stuff and talking about it. And it was just one of those things where, and obviously, he had his website at the time, and we keep in touch various of that. But then with Facebook and stuff, I had him as a friend on there. And it's been years. Every time he comes to town, I usually am lucky enough to catch up and meet him after the show and chat. And he's just, for someone who is amazing as he is, I mean, he's probably right, not probably, when it comes to rock, he is one of the best bass players on the planet.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He would sit with you and have a glass of wine and talk about his cat, and he's just, you can literally message him on Facebook and I asked him a question the other day, as I'm trying to start playing again. I said, "Was there any techniques at all from transitioning from, especially when you're playing fingerstyle, transitioning from playing quarter beats on 3 fingers, because you have to move the accent across, to going back to 2? Is there anything in particular that you found that helps you transition between those 2? And he was, messaging me straight back. He was like, yeah, there is. I'm gonna have to see if, because he's got his YouTube channel going now.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. Yeah, it's actually entertaining. I like it.
over that. He said, I'm sure I've done interviews about it in the past. But yeah, he always replies, and he's just, and I'm sure it's the same for everybody, because that's the kind of guy he is. It's not like it's like, oh yeah, my best mate's Billy Sheehan, but he's always replied and always been there. And I think he put a post up of a guy in India that literally was talking about that first time that he replied to an email, or emailed Billy Sheehan not expecting to get a reply, and he replied literally the next day, and how amazed he was that here was an email from Billy Sheehan. And it's weird. That's how approachable he is, and
that's great. I mean, I love his setup videos. You seen those on YouTube where he does like, this is how I get a cheap bass and do it up, and how literally he just does it the way he does it. And there'll literally be technicians all over the world crying at it. You've not taped the fingerboard off. You've not done this. You've not done that. You're not supposed to turn the truss rod that far, that much. But literally, he says all the way through it, this is just how I do it. And I'm not one. I don't care about aesthetics. If I literally file the fretboard slightly, I'm not bothered. But if you want to do it properly, do it properly. But I love his honesty with it. It's like,
And that he's such a humble guy that he's on that, I'm no luthier, and, this is how I've kind of bummed my way into doing this over the years. And it's fascinating to watch, because it's an insight into him.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's how much of a humble guy he is. And he has all the rights in the world to be the most arrogant prick you could ever meet. There's always that, don't meet you here. And he is one guy that
I've met him twice when he was doing the Viband thing. Used to be able to go and sort of do the meet and greets, being the distributor with Steve Vai and his band, and he was always fantastic. He was just such a nice person to talk to. And I remember my buddy from work, Billy was like doing a sign, and he said, I remember the line actually, he says, and who are you, man? And he went, oh, I'm nobody. And Billy Sheehan, you are somebody, man. It was just, it was great.
Yeah, he is incredible. That was the big thing for me when I was trying to get out of becoming Steve Harris Mark II, was Billy's stuff. I bought a lot of the old VHSs of his instructional stuff, him with Wolf Marshall.
I remember Wolf Marshall.
Wolf Marshall with his sweatshirt with music notes all over it. And I remember him kind of questioning Billy about theory and chucking all this massive theory at him. And Billy I don't really... And this was right early. It might have been just before the Mr. Big albums were coming out, and he was like, you're blinding me with science. He was more about playing from the ear.
Yeah,
that's something that's always blown me away. It's just sheer talent.
It is. And did you know a fact about today is that Lean Into It is 30 years old today?
Oh my God! Wow. We're getting old.
We're old.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just, that with him, that was the big one, big influence, Billy Sheehan. Yeah, big influence.
I think that's a pretty damn good influence to have. I mean, I'm pretty obvious with who my influences are by what's sat behind me, but
but yeah, I mean, Eddie Jackson from Queensryche was another big one. Before I moved to 5-string, I used to play in drop D all the time to get that kind of cheat that 5-string sound.
Yeah.
I really loved his tone, really good tone. And then it's really weird. Is that
what got you into being like a Warwick boy? Because you've always been into your Warwicks as long as I've known you.
Yeah, for me it was because he's
sorry for everybody else, the Warwicks.
Warwick. Yeah, it was from the turning point for me with Warwick was I went to see Saxon in Worthing, and there was an opening band. They were very kind of Skid Rowish. I still to this day don't know the name of the band, but he had a really heavily flaked black kind of metallic Warwick, and I just absolutely loved that sound and was like, oh my God, that is a sound I've been looking for. And a friend of mine, Paul Hart, who owned Monster Music in Worthing, was selling his 5-string Warwick Thumb at the time. And it was just one of those, I went in and played it, and that was it. I was like, shit, I'm screwed. And I think that was probably 95, something like that, 94, 95. And yeah, I remember playing it in the shop in the corner, thinking, don't look at the price tag, just see what see what it plays like. And I think Paul, knowing me, knowing it was going to go to a good home, was like, yeah, we'll try and sort some deal out then. And I was just trying to trade everything in. That's why I say previously about not having basses I grew up with, is because I literally did a crossroad moment, sold my soul to get into this bass. And yeah, I mean, I don't have it anymore, sadly, because once I got endorsed by Warwick and they were kind enough to make me some basses, and I wasn't playing it. And it was killing me that it was just sat in the case. So I ended up selling it when I was moving to the US. I was like, it's a great bass, but it deserves to be played. And yeah, I've regretted it ever since. But yeah, I recorded the first 2 Pride records with that, and did all of my cover band stuff in England was with that bass. And yeah, the old school handmade in West Germany. That's how old that one was.
Before the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, I should have sold that.
So that's a beast you've got there. I can see there. That's a one-off, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one they made for me. Yeah, that's the one they did for me, the chrome one. There was only me and Stuart Zenden from Jamiroquai at the time that had chrome finishes. And they asked me what I wanted to do, and I thought, I don't know, I've always been a big Satch fan.
Yeah.
That was one. My uncle would always be blasting. It was him that kind of got me a lot of the music, like the Flying a Blue Dream album. He bought me that on cassette, and Satch has always been a big thing. And it was just the fact that they sent me a bunch of, obviously, the list of all the different colors you can get, and there was something that just jumped out about it. It was like, oh my god, that's really different. That's just really different. So I had that done with Seymour Duncan's. Yeah, and that's good Lord, when was that? Getting old and can't remember stuff. 2005. Yeah, so yeah, and that's been my main bass ever since 2005.
You do dally into the occasional Fender bit, though, don't you? You know, you do.
Oh. Yeah, I've got my Fenders. A lot of it's in storage at the moment. When I was 16 or 17, I had a blue one built identical to Steve Harris's and got him to sign it for me at an fan club meeting. And that one's in a case locked away. And then, being sad, I did get this one, which is probably the heaviest bass I've ever picked up in my entire life. This beauty, which
it's got the wrong badge on for you, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a issue with the badge, but yeah, this bass, it's just, I don't know, it's something for me. Just Maiden's always going to have something in my heart.
Well, the thing is, mate, I was going to actually, because I knew you got that one and you got a signed one as well. I was actually going to do a new section on this podcast, because like me, I've got sort of artist stuff, and I was going to basically start the section off tonight with your famous artist gear.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. I need to find a logo. I need to find a logo for that section. I'm not sure what it's going to be.
But yeah, it's just other about it. It's just Maiden. Even now, it's just one of those bands that instantly, I don't know, it just seems timeless for me. It's weird, and especially playing along with it, burning Live After Death out.
Yeah,
at like 15 years old, playing those songs. In fact, I remember when they did the Live After Death Revisited, that was like a monumental moment for me. I remember I was in Chicago. I'm not sure which stadium was there in Chicago, but I remember going there, just plonking myself in front of the sound desk. I don't go down the front anymore.
Not me.
Yeah, plonked myself in front of the sound desk because I knew that's where Dougie Hall was going to get the best sound, and just waiting for Churchill's speech to start. And it was just like, oh my God, it's like I'm 13 years old again. And it was just, Aces High coming on, and then, all of the stuff, Rhyme the Ancient Mariner, and seeing that live, it was like, yeah, because obviously the video as well, which was another reason we're talking about visual learning. I had the Live After Death video VHS that I would sit there and rewind with my combination TV VHS player to see what playing to kind of learn it. And oh man, yeah.
I'm jealous of you, the fact that, you know, that your favourite band, like, of all time, which is Maiden, you know, you can still go and see. I mean, obviously out of this pandemic and that crap, like, but you can still see them doing massive shows, and I'm never going to get to see Van Halen play. You know what I mean? It's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's,
you know, I've seen like probably thousands of shows, and like I've seen many big bands, including like Maiden, all those multiple times through being at loads of different festivals and shows and that. But I never got to see my favourite band because they never came to the UK. I had tickets in '98 for the 3 tour with Gary Sharon at the NEC. My brother managed to score front row Eddie's side of the stage. You know, I'm like, this is going to be brilliant. 2 days before they canned the British dates. They said it was because some bit of ceiling fell down on Alex Van Halen's arm during rehearsal in Germany, but I think they just hadn't sold. They booked arenas basically, and I don't think there was the demand there. I'm reading, I might be wrong, but I'm reading between the lines there. But the gigs were pulled, and I didn't get to go. They got refunded.
Wow.
But yeah, never saw them live because they just didn't play in the UK.
No.
And whenever I was in the States, literally, if you ever went to like the holiday in Florida, when they were on tour, they'd played there 3 months before or 2 weeks before, and I just missed them. It never felt right. It never felt right. So, and of course Eddie's passed now, so it's like it's not going to happen. So
sucks. Yeah, me, it was Donington, 1992. 15 years old was the first time I saw Maiden. Yeah, and I dread to think how many times I've seen them now. I'll say dread. I've seen them a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, seen them a lot. In fact, my birthday, I'm trying to think how many years ago, probably 3 years ago, they were playing literally on like the 21st of August, and my birthday's on the 24th. So a bunch of us travelled down and obviously heavily drinking because we'd hired a limo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're heavily drinking and kept stopping to pee. And we'd been lucky enough to get some passes, and we'd stopped so much and peed. We got there and they were close to getting on, and it turns out our meet and greet passes were before the show and not after. So we did like meet up with them. So that was a bit of a gutter. But but to see them, they're just one of those bands that if you've never seen them live, especially in this kind of era of music, it's just old school. Well, 6 guys now, I was about to say 5 guys, 6 guys that are old enough to be old enough to be my dad at least. Absolutely no tracks, just blasting the shit out of you, and it's just with
a second to non-stage show as well. You know,
yeah, unbeatable. I know it's
last time I saw Maiden, the last time I saw him was headlining Download a few years back, and it was the one where they literally flew the Spitfire over the crowd.
Yep.
And it was like, that's cool. You know, it was like...
That was the tour I saw him on, funny enough, in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a different world. It's, but yeah, it's crazy, really.
So
crazy.
Like I said before, I sort of wrap the chat up, because I know me and you could talk all night. That's the problem.
Oh,
it'd be a 5.5 hour long podcast. But, I love catching up with you. It's great fun because we just got.
Sorry, it's been so long. I'm a really shit friend, but
it's all right, man.
Text and stuff, but video chat, we need to do it more often.
Well, I was going to say, what's next? We've talked about the crap that we're going through at the moment, and we're going to be able to get out of it soon by the looks of it. You mentioned before about doing a bit more Rubicon Cross. I know life's changed for you now because you're like, you're husband and daddy daycare and all this, and
yeah,
it's where to fit it in, isn't it? It's where to fit it in.
That's it, and it's just a case of just priorities obviously shift. I mean, yeah, I know. Another record has been talked about on and off, between Chris and CJ and myself for a couple of years, but it would be kind of fitting. Maybe, get through all this crap, and then maybe look at doing something towards the back end of the year and getting some stuff sorted out. But yeah, for me personally, I'd also like to, it's weird. Wisconsin is it's a strange market for music. There's a lot of well-established bands, but to start anything new is very difficult. Where obviously Chicago, there's a lot of bands. It's a big scene, as it were. It's a little bit smaller up here, but yeah, I definitely would like to do something local once I can. There's a few friends of mine up here that we've already spoken about, possibly jamming and doing some stuff. But yeah, it's I just got to get back playing at some point.
Well, I've got some remote recording jobs for you.
There you go. That'll be a start.
Send you some stuff. I can chuck you one of our rocked up. The thing we're doing at the moment, we pick an 80s cover that's preposterous and turn it into a rock song. I'll send you one of them. Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. Let's see if we can turn Madonna into Metallica and get away with it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah. It's just a weird one. It's kind of, I definitely feel like it's almost like coming out of hibernation. It's just so focused when you have young kids around. It's like you're just so focused on them surviving.
Well, yeah.
It's like, oh my God, this is my responsibility. I
think what we'll have to do when we're out of all this, we need to plan, because I've been invited a few times in the last couple of years, but I just haven't been able to make it work time-wise or anything. But we need to go out to Namm again, man. But we need to go, and I won't be literally tied to a booth anymore. I just want to literally go over and look at everything, see everything. I'd love to then do all the night stuff, go and see all the different shows and stuff like that, and not have the worry of having to be at the booth at 8 o'clock in the morning to hoover it and that kind of thing before, because it's intense, you know what I mean? And
then you're sitting down for lunch and not at the end of the day feeling like your feet are going to fall off, basically.
Well, yeah, I'd just like to go and absorb it more rather than, because in the past when I've been there, you've seen it, I've ran around before the show starts for an hour to look at stuff. And then even the once, you looked after me the once, because I literally did the whole 2 days of the show with a smashed knee, didn't I? And you just kept giving me painkillers. And I was like, I can't move, can't walk.
Yeah.
And that was drinking with Kill Switch Engage, wasn't it? They can drink.
Yes, those boys. Yeah, they can. That was when Adam won The Price Is Right. Not The Price Is Right.
And he was wearing he was wearing the same gear as he was, the flip flops and the hoodie and stuff and the hat. But he was
the money, the lot, didn't he?
Yeah.
He won the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Was it Andy Sneap that was with us as well that night?
Yeah, Andy Sneap, and there was a few there. We were a really crappy bowling alley, weren't we?
Yeah, I can't, because I know something went south. I know you and Chris, we were supposed to go somewhere I thought a bit more elaborate.
Yeah, if you remember, we thought we were going somewhere else, but we let somebody else organise it all. And yeah.
Yeah.
We all got there and it was like, right, okay. I think we ended up getting pizza or something delivered because we couldn't get food at the place we've been booked on food at or something. I don't know.
They were only selling beer, which was great, but it was, we ordered like 3 or 4 pizzas, and then his name's escaping me, which I'm really embarrassed about. Bass player, Australian, lives in California.
Oh, Christian Attard.
Yes, he was with us.
Yeah, he was there with us. Yeah.
Yeah, he's such a cool guy. Love him to bits.
He's one of the smoothest people on earth, man.
Yeah, phenomenal player as well. Phenomenal player. I know there's one point, I think the booth was closing, and there was me, him, and Eric hanging out, just jamming.
Yeah,
we were just jamming any booth together. And it was just, and again, I saw your one with Eric as well, another phenomenal player.
I've had people message me about that maybe weren't aware of Eric, and they've literally said it was like 2.5 hours, but it didn't seem like it because he was just so interesting. Because he is. He's been all over there. He's done this. He's done that, and it's
another humble guy.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, they would. Yeah, Namm would be fun. It would obviously be different, but it would be fun to go out there and kind of experience it as a punter, as it were.
well, yeah, I'd like, it's like I get an invite every year. I do, from different places, and it'd be lovely. But I'd love to take Luce just for LA for the week, as long as she can put up with me being an absolute music nerd in the daytime. Because that's what I'll be.
One thing I would recommend, when I was last out there, when we were with friend Steve Jones, we went out for Keith Barris's organisation, the Guitar Guru Network. We went out with them, and because hotels obviously are horrendously expensive in Anaheim, then horrendously pumped up during Namm. We actually Airbnb'd a house.
Right.
It was like a 7-minute Uber ride away, and I think between 4 of us, it was like $150 for the week.
That's perfect, isn't it?
And it had everything there. The kitchen was not obviously stacked with any food, but all the utensils. So which went to Total Wine, got a crap load of piss in.
Yeah.
Then went and got some groceries, and we were just cooking back at the house. So it saved us that way. And plus, it was that was the last time I went. It was a really cool way of doing it. Apart from a massive snowstorm coming in, and I got stuck there for another 2 days on my own. So I had to pay for the house for another 2 days on my own.
Oh, no way.
And then tried to rejiggle flight. I was trying to fly back through everywhere, Denver, and I ended up just going to Chicago and actually getting a mate to pick me up from Chicago to drive me back up to Wisconsin. Just doing everything to try and get home.
No way.
Yeah, we got to get out there. That'd be fun.
I will make it, man. Because I do like I miss the old little bits as well. Where like you'd ring in and say, "Mate, I've made it. I'm where are you? I haven't got my badge." And I'll be like, "I'll bring your badge to you. Meet me at the Hilton bar at midday."
Yeah,
I'm just off to find Farmery. I've got to give him his badge.
Yeah, see you in 3 hours when you come back around. But I know, waffling on again, and it's dragging on. But I know before we started talking, we were talking about the evolution of equipment and how, I have this huge rack system that I built.
You do, man. It's massive and it's heavy.
With everything I wanted, everything I ever needed into it.
And everything that everybody else needs that you don't, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And then 8x10s, and then now I think we said before I'm using that.
What is that? That's the Tech 21 Steve Harris thing, yeah. And
I use that into a Line 6 UX2.
That's the fly rig, isn't it? Is it called that for bass? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's. I was lucky enough. In fact, it's one of those small world scenarios that happened. I went down to watch. Obviously, being a complete nerd, went down to watch British Lion play in Chicago when it was literally right before the shutdown last year, and went down to see him play. And because I know Tony Newton, who's recorded a lot of the iMain's live stuff, very dangerous again. He used to play bass in a band called Dirty Deeds, and the guitarist that joined Pride, Barry Fitzgibbon, was from Dirty Deeds. So we all kind of knew it was again. Back in the day. So I knew Tony was going to be there because he was doing sound for him. And so I went down to hang out and catch up with him. I was standing at the bar grabbing a drink, and all of a sudden this guy goes, "Simon?" And it was my friend Jez from Brighton. And he was running monitors for British Lion. And it was on the tour. So he kind of went, come and have a quick look. And basically that's what Steve Harris takes on the road. He takes one of those Tech 22s through some two GK heads. And that's it. They're flat.
So you had to get that then? Yeah.
No, I'm not that much of a fanboy. I had to get the pedal. That was one thing I had to, I had to get the pedal because it's really versatile. Having 2 channels and stuff, it was really versatile. Having built a fly pedal board, that's a good way of kind of having literally a plug and play sound. I mean, it's got a tuner built in. You could literally use it. I'm starting to sound like a Tech 21 advert, but if you wanted to, just walk in with a bass and that and some ears and play.
It's like me with this.
Yeah.
It's like it's backup for me and record. I've used it every day for recording in the last year. The big one is my gig one, which I'm not gigging, so I've no reason to stand up and use a wah or anything or do multiple switching when I'm recording. So this gets used every single day. But when I'm gigging, fits in your gig bag. Anything catastrophic goes wrong, you've got amps, cabs, pedals, the lot. You can just run that into the PA, run it into an effects loop. We've never had it so good, mate. And this comes up a lot in the interviews. We've never had it so good. There's never been a better player to be a musician in terms of gear and good price gear for relatively a lot less than what it was when we started playing, for example. You know what I mean? Oh
God, yeah. I don't even want to what it cost me to
build I mean, not even funny. You've worked in retail as well, and you can see what I mean from that, from music retail. We're looking at what would it cost us let's say a Japanese guitar that would have been 1,800 quid 10 years ago. You can get an Indonesian one that's just as good spec now for like 600. It's, you know, things like that. You know, it's...
And it's, I think moving forward, if I'm lucky enough moving forward to do shows again of say Rubicon Cross, we're lucky enough to get out and do some more shows again, I would definitely look down the line of doing, I know that Kemper's more aimed towards guitar stuff, but I know Fractal have been very popular in doing sampling of bass, like real bass tones, because that would, I really like that. In fact, Saxon, I know for a fact, that's another bunch of guys I've been lucky enough to know for years and years. They all of them guys are on Kemper.
It's all Kemper now, yeah.
And Andy Sneap has all of the studio recording sounds in those amps, and that I go out with. But yeah, it's different, man. It's different in a good way, because now I'm getting old. My back can't handle lifting all that whole heavy crap. So having something you can put, I think I put a picture up when I first got my Line 6 studio. Sorry, Line 6, Laney next to studio, because Lava run ears. That's all I took was a bass, 2 bass guitars in my double bass bag, and my next to studio and a pedal. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is different. I mean, especially for bass. I know Chris touched on it. There's a different thing about feeling.
We touched on trouser flappage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of ears. I mean, it helps, especially when Robert Benke in Rubicon Cross is also in Lava. He's a really loud drummer.
Yeah. He was with us with Kill Switch as well, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, it helps with him if you're running ears. You don't come back, go to the bar afterwards to get a beer, and you're like, beer. So what do you want for drinking?
Yeah.
Especially when it's going in your ear, and you're like, it's like, that tells you it's good for that side of things, but for the feel and the show aspect, it's got to be cabs, But
it's to say they're going to coexist. I think. I mean, the pure.
Yeah.
Sound guys probably absolutely adore the fact that people are moving on to Kempers and Helixes and Axe Effectors, because literally it's like, give me that beautiful signal, happy days.
Yep.
Oh
yeah, it doesn't have to spend, worry about, I know SM57s or whatever they're miking up with these days aren't, tons of money, but it's just one less variable.
It's one less variable, and it's consistency. And I mean, the way these workers sound out, a lot of their job's done for you, because you literally are working on a polished sound that includes, your pedals, your amp, and your post-processing, because, you put in a compressor at the end of your chain and things like that. You're literally given a live-ready tone. So essentially, a sound guy can just go, volume. Obviously, they do their own tweaks, but, it's simpler. There's less stuff that can go wrong, but it's there's still a merit to having a big tube head blasting behind you with cabs.
Yeah, but I think it's more to do with, that's what we've grown up to be used to, I think, and that's what we're.
So. The internet players aren't used to that anymore. They're not. They literally, like, I think it was Giz Butt mentioned it. There's a whole generation of amazing guitar players now that do videos that last a minute long on Instagram that have probably never even experienced a loud amp that's a real amp with tubes in it and dealing with the feedback, because they're so used to modeling and software that they wouldn't be able to control it. Literally, they put the guitar on 10, it's whistle, and what do I do? Don't know. Don't have this normally. My computer doesn't make this noise.
Yeah.
It's that's a bit scary.
Different. It's a really different animal, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just it's actually something I'm really looking forward to, going down that path of, to investigate, because I know me and Frank had talked about it when I last saw him out at Namm with the Line 6 stuff, and I've actually talked to Billy about it, because he's a big
he loves Helix. He loves Helix.
They were sampling a lot of his old.
Well, his Pierce gears in there. His Pierce preamp lots in there.
So I was talking to him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, you've got to try this stuff out. It's it's not just the guitar. The bass stuff is really cool.
There's lots of bass stuff on it now as well. It's great. Every update, there's more bass stuff. There's some
that's brilliant. Yeah, I think
bass sounds in there.
It's definitely going to be one of the options I will try, but I think it's more. I'd like to try the idea of sampling my sound. And then, but then again, it's always, you know, good to maybe sit down and when the time comes to AB, and you can always try to make your sound. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm actually, like I say, I'm excited about going down that path and being an old fart and trying to figure out how to use modern equipment.
If you're ever stuck with anything, you know, I'm on the end of a messenger. I can help you
Yeah,
out with it.
That Chris, how do you do this again? You know, like
I'll tell you what, the best thing for you to do, if you had any time and you wanted to get into like the sounds and the technology, was literally just get the trial of Native. Because you get 15 days. You get 15 days, and it's literally Helix in your computer.
Oh, okay.
It's a plugin, but it's Helix, and it's still the same stuff. So if you don't want to just play with it, you've got 15 days without paying for anything, just to have a look how it works and dial some sounds in. I'd say that's the best way to start.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's free, you know.
There we go. And are you able to, like, for instance, my setup is Cubase. I've used it for donkey's years.
Yeah.
So able to use Helix as a VST instrument then?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just put it as an effect on a channel. So you're basically essentially recording your dry signal, but you put Helix as an insert, and then it comes up, and you've literally got the same Helix edit type thing that I use, which is all your amps and your pedals and your settings and that, and just fiddle with it. You know. So
you record wet or dry?
You can do either. You can monitor through it. So you got your line 6 USB port there in you or something, but you can monitor it live. You want to just jam with it, it'll just come through exactly as if you were playing through a modeling software on your computer, but it's the same sounds. It literally turns your computer into Helix.
Oh, I'm gonna have to give that a go then.
So you might as well just have a look at that and literally just plug in and have a play. Yep.
Yep, that'd be a place to start. Look at you, should get a kickback from line 6.
this is a non-sponsored video. Anyway, mate, it's been absolutely fantastic, and I bet you thought I was going to rinse you, didn't you? But I haven't, because I'm very professional, you see.
That wasn't the reason behind it not happening yet. Like me being, oh no, he's gonna give me tons of shit. But no, it was it's always, you know, been lucky enough to be your friend for as long as I have, and our phone calls have never been short. They're always like this.
They carried on when I had to leave as well, and I really appreciated that. The fact that, you know, when I was left that to be a carer, you still rang me and we still chat for an hour or whatever, you know, when I was looking after my parents and that, you know. So, you know,
big thing for it is, you know, foremost, we were friends. I mean, the relationship we had with Lainey was something that came about from a friendship. It wasn't like, you know, I was lucky enough to be endorsed by Lainey and then we became friends. It was the other way around, friends, and then that just happened to come into place. But I'll be lucky enough to work with a lot of artist relations guys over the years. But yeah, you're the only one I still talk to. Apart from, that's a lie, only from DR. Yourself and Tony, and from DR Strings. He has been my artist guy. In fact, they've just created a new artist department that he's not part of, which is devastating, because I've literally been in contact with him. We've been chatting since like 95, and he's an absolute diamond. But yeah, him and yourself are the only two people I talk to. The other places are, with the way the industry is, it's more of a revolving door when it comes to artist relations guys. And there's something said about having the same guy you're dealing with, you know, and they're a friend and it, I don't know, it's just it's just different. It's a different working environment then. It does not work. That's what it is. It's not work. And it's, I've been lucky enough to have that as yourself for God knows how long it was.
Well, it's lovely to hear, man. It's lovely to hear.
Good years or so. But yeah, I'll let you go because it's probably, good Lord, you know, keeping you up late.
Ah, it's all right. I'm nocturnal now, pretty much. So it's been amazing, man. I just got to do my normal thing because people tend to watch stuff and not subscribe. So I've got to literally tell people that, you know, I do appreciate every subscription and every like to the videos and the shares, because they do actually make a difference to me, because the more likes and shares, the more I get noticed upon YouTube, and I do see it from the stats. So that would be much appreciated, that people that are enjoying this and watch the YouTube side. Obviously, it's still available. Audio version is on Apple, also on Google and on Spotify and on basically all major and minor sort of podcast areas now. You can get the audio versions, but it's been
you normally do music, right?
well, I had a bit of it was a delay going on Spotify because it was up on Apple and stuff before that. But even though I go through a company called Anchor that distributes the podcast, it's owned by Spotify, right? But it wasn't showing up on Spotify, and they were like, I looked into it. Oh, well, it's probably because you've got music on your show, and I was like, well, yeah, there's an intro and an outro. Well,
you wrote.
But and I was like, yeah, but I wrote those. I wrote that music. It's my music. And they just went, oh, okay. Then they just assume that people just nick music and whack it on there. I was like, well, no, it's this song. It's like 6 months old. It's like,
man, it's weird. It's like if you did steal the music, not that I'm saying you implying you would, but say it was some band that Alter Bridge, you took that intro from. If it's playing on Spotify, they're going to get 1/1000 cent, even if they were to claim it. So it's like with the way that Spotify.
I just found it funny.
It's not like the artist is going to be a millionaire by that 30-second either end. It's
no. I just thought it was funny that their default stance on it was literally like that must be copyrighted material. Well, yeah, by me.
Yeah,
it's like I know. Right.
I purposely went to the 2 bass videos I did. The first one I did was Maiden, and I did the old. I'm not going to make any money from this. I don't own the rights. The full legal. I went online and looked for the legal jargon to put in.
Yeah.
When Cross one, I purposely didn't put that in because I was like, come on, bring it on.
Did they?
Didn't come. They didn't do anything, which was quite funny, really. I was waiting for them to. Like, you can't do this. Copyrighted music. I was like, yes, it is.
Because what name does it say on here? ASCAP. It's like.
Yeah. Oh man.
We'll have to do this again sometime off camera, man. Well, obviously on camera, off.
Yes.
Public.
Yeah, definitely. And please say hello to Lucy for me, and we'll be in touch. Definitely. I'll. Might be cool. Maybe you could do if you have how many of these you've done now?
You're number 12.
Oh, I think you need to do something like for the 25th one, do like a live one.
I could do that.
The live one where people can chime in, and I reckon
that'd be fun. That'd be real fun, actually.
Do like a live one, so everyone can kind of interact. I think that'd be a really cool one.
It could turn into a massive piss take session, which would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Amazing. Yeah.
I'll make sure I get beer in for that one.
Yeah, that would be a cool thing to do. Maybe do a live one just to see, because I don't know how YouTube works. I think you have to get a certain amount of subscribers before you can do a live event.
No, I can go live. It does give me an option to go live. So yeah, should be able to do that. That'd be quite fun, actually.
That would be we'll have to chew on that one and see if, not necessarily myself, but I mean, if someone, it'd be great
you'd be perfect.
That was one thing when I was watching the one with you and Chris. It was like I felt like I wanted to interact. It was really that's what makes it, if you're doing a live one, you could kind of chirp in some stuff.
We get a live chat going and that kind of thing. That'd be great as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I'll think about that. I reckon that'd be cool. I do want to start going live at some point because it's more spontaneous. But at the moment, with getting used to the, and trying to get my branding right and this, it's I'm trying to. That's literally what I'm doing is doing an edit first before they go out. But as I get more and more confident, why not? We'll just do a random live one and be like, okay, we're going out live tonight. Let's do it. Yeah.
Someone come on here that's giving you crap. We're just absolutely.
We'll just do like no holds barred for an hour. Yeah.
You brutally destroy them publicly. Yeah, it'd be amazing.
That sounds great to me. Rather than just after we finish recording in a second, what we're going to do.
Yes, that's what I'm going to do. Excellent.
All right, man. Well, it's been epic, and I will catch up with you real soon. All right. Thanks to everyone for watching, subscribing, liking, and sharing. It's much appreciated, and I'll catch you all later. See you, my man.
Bye-bye.
A bit.
You've been listening to the Beer and Gear podcast with Chris Taylor.